good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl Toya, and this is season 2, episode 6, and it's called "Am I Doing This Right?" So, if you follow me on any social media, I made a post on my Instagram. Go and follow Universal Teas on Instagram, and I really didn't know what I was going to talk about until this morning. So, this episode idea came from me feeling this way when I woke up this morning. So I was up around 4 a.m., not on purpose, but anxiety told me to get my ass up at 4 a.m. Don't know why, she just rude like that. But when I was up, this is my exact thought, like, Toya, what are you doing? And I felt like this is a thought and a question that a lot of us have, especially that millennial group, when we're in that age where we feel like we're adults, but we're not really doing things that adults do. Or if we are trying to do adult things, we kind of faking it till we make it, And so I have been really in a funk, right? I woke up this morning, I was sad for whatever reason. I just felt very heavy. I shed a tear or two. And I feel like most of us have this thought of, am I doing this life shit right? Like, am I being an adult right? Am I in the right position for the age range that I'm in, right? I should, we question things like I should have kids. I should be in a serious relationship. My friendship should be more stable. My home should be more stable. And I feel like we really get down on ourselves. Or maybe I'm just talking about me. I don't know about y'all, how y'all feel about that. But I often get in that place, right? And I have friends who often get in that place and they tell me that they feel this way, and they feel like they're not doing enough. Okay, so my question to you, and a question that I've asked myself, the first question is, when do we feel like this? How do we get in these spaces, in these places where we feel like we're not doing enough, where we question if we're adulting correctly, where we kind of consider whether or not we're moving in the right direction, right? So how do we get there? Why do we feel this way? What do you all think? Because I know Misha said in the chat she gets in those spaces. So how do we get there, right? And then it sucks while y'all are answering that in the chat. It's even more difficult when I sometimes feel guilty for having those thoughts, because you have people who give you the advice of, oh, you're doing so well, or think about these people that are living this way and you should be more grateful for what you have. Like, they kind of guilt us into feeling bad for not feeling like we're on top of the world, right? Does anybody else feel that guilt from other people? Somebody said the environment makes us feel that way. I think it's a state of mind. Yes, and I was just on the phone with a friend this morning on the way to work, and he basically told me, like, I think that's a sign of depression, right? Or a sign of anxiety, or a sign of just mental health not being the way it is. So I think we need to, excuse me, y'all. I think we need to kind of figure out what our triggers are. Like, what makes us feel this way? I got some people in the chat. Pot says, same here. But what if we feel like we are supposed to do more because our peers talk so much of how their pasts were hard? Right. So I think, Pot, where you're getting at is that feeling of guilt for feeling this way, right? Because oftentimes, and maybe it's not them wanting us to feel guilty, but I sometimes don't even want to express when I feel that way, because I have people like, oh, well, you got this, or you did that. They try to give you a my life was harder story. Y'all ever experienced that? And it's like, I get it, but for who I am and my life and my journey and my experiences, this is difficult for me right now, right? Don't exclude me because my story is not the same as yours. So I think that it definitely is environment surrounding the things we see, the things we ingest, this social media shit. And I think that's a big thing for me. I don't know about y'all, but social media and just seeing how things look on social media is kind of what gets me in that space. It's like, I know people who are, and this is me, y'all. I promise this is me. I think this all the time. I'll be 28 in like 2 weeks. So it's like, there are people that are 25 that have kids, that are in happy relationships, that own a Beamer, that own a house, that got an Airbnb, that making this much money, that's doing these many things, and all I'm doing is teaching. Right? And I've never been in a relationship, and I don't have kids, and I don't see me having kids anytime soon, right? So I kind of get down on myself and feeling like, well, is there something I'm not doing right? Like, what's this cheat code to to get to where you're supposed to be, right? Some people say social media is the devil. Some people say detox, right? And so I feel like when we get in these spaces, it comes from, and this is a quote that I first heard from my friend, but I've been seeing it a lot more lately, but comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? We're not enjoying our present moment because we're so caught up in everything that's seemingly happening around us, right? We see somebody, and this isn't just because I know, and I don't know why, people automatically assume relationship. Like, oh, you want to do this, you know what I'm saying? You see people doing things in their relationship, and that's not even necessarily it. It's like finding peace, right? One thing that I struggle with, or that I'm on a quest to, and I've mentioned this in episodes previously, is like living freely, right? Not caring what people think, just being happy, pure happiness. I had a whole episode called The Pursuit of Happiness. So what is it? Why are we comparing ourselves to other people, right? I find people and I'm like, they must be happy. Right? But you never really know. And I have a friend who told me a lot of times, or always reminds me, like, a lot of this shit you see is fake. A lot of what you see is fake. But it's so hard to believe that a lot of it is fake, or a lot of it is not as it seems when you know the individuals. Now, I'm not talking about celebrities, because y'all know I am a firm believer in not idolizing people. But I feel like I know these people, or I talked to this person, or I went to college with this person. I should be doing the same thing they're doing, or I should at least have half of what they're doing. If they're doing it, I can do it, right? And so another point, I see y'all in the comments. I promise I'm going to get to it. Another point in asking yourself, are you doing this life thing right? Is that we kind of disregard what people don't show and tell, right? And I was talking to my friend this morning when we got to work, and I was telling her, like, when we compare ourselves to people, we oftentimes just look at where they are now, but you have no idea what it takes for them to get there, right? You see the tip of the iceberg with no idea what's happening underneath, right? They've gotten through things. They've gotten through struggles. They've conquered things. They've established themselves. but you don't see that, right? So we often are asking ourselves, like, am I doing this right, when you don't know what it took for them to get there? And half the time, because I'm still looking for the cheat code of how some of y'all balling with no job, how y'all wearing designer with no job, how y'all on y'all fifth baby with no job, and y'all just out here stunting on us people with jobs. Anyway, when y'all get that cheat code, let me know. But we oftentimes don't even realize what it took for a person to get there. Yes, that person is winning because they put in some behind the scenes work. Are you? Right? Yes, that person got here because they put in the work to get there. Right? So I'm going to go into some of the comments, and then I'm going to make that a question. Hey, Joey. I agree. Something someone once told me, social media makes up 10% of influencers' life. They literally post a snippet of what they go through, but because of how society is, we assume that life is like that for them all day, every day, and that's not always the case. Exactly. Social media culture, and I'm talking TikTok, I'm talking Instagram, even Facebook, right? Even because I see like little TikTok videos. I don't have a TikTok yet. I will. But I see little TikTok videos where they kind of glorify struggling. Like, they acknowledge mental health. They acknowledge, like, I've been through things. But it's kind of glorified still through social media, right? And you still got this fancy camera angle to show it off. You still got this little fancy reel to show it off. But you're not really showing when you nappy-headed with one side of your edges hanging out your bonnet and your shirt got a hole in it because you've been in bed all day and depressed. That's not what you're showing. You still making sure you got the right lighting, right? We're glorifying even the struggles. So it's like their struggle doesn't seem that bad because they set up a camera to film it, you know? And so we often ask ourselves, like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? Moment of transparency. And I say this all the time. And it's crazy because my friend Neek, hey girl, we talked about this yesterday, which was Valentine's Day. And she was like, we asked our friend, like, is Valentine's Day really important to you? Blah, 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 blah. And then she asked me, and I was like, girl, I ain't never had a Valentine. I ain't never had a boyfriend. So I'm gonna have a Valentine. And she's just like, that's so crazy that you say that. And I'm like, but it's true. So that's something that I struggle with as an adult woman who is almost 30, who's never been in a relationship. And it's like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why nobody want to be my boyfriend? I feel like B. Simone out here. Nobody want to be my boyfriend. You know what I mean? And so we get into this mode and this mindset that you're doing something wrong, when in all actuality, you have to think about all the things that you're doing right. Okay? Think about how many people have had 7 boyfriends, meaning that they ain't get it right 7 motherfucking times. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And so by me watching people be in a relationship, hearing about relationships, seeing relationship, you know what I mean? It kind of is a 1-up. And you got to think about it, right? You got to make it a mind shift. It's a 1-up. You know, I mean, no, I'm not trying to make it, I'll be transparent. I'm a professional at situationships, but relationships, not so much. You know what I mean? But we compare ourselves, right? People want to be good friends or talk about what a good friend looks like when you're not even a good friend. Maybe you don't have any good friends because you're not one. Maybe you don't have a lot of money because you don't know how to manage it. Oop, I just told on myself. You know, me and some friends were also talking about like finances and money, and I'm this old, I got this career, I should have this much money. But do you know how to manage money? Because baby, every day after work, I'm going to get me something to eat. Food in the house or not. I got McDonald's money, so I'm going. You know what I mean? And so we have to, and this leads me to a question: are you doing the work to get where you want to be? Right? We talked about how we compare ourselves to people, but are you doing the work to get to where you want to be? You know, we have to stop throwing ourselves a pity party and really start questioning our reality. We got to step outside of the physical. People who do this social media shit, their camera's not on all day, every day. They vlog. Yes, they vlog what they want you to see. They not vlogging you arguing with a man. When y'all ever seen it? Okay? They not vlogging them pinching pennies, going in their little change drawer at one point in their lives. Okay? They're only vlogging the life that they want you to see. They're not vlogging their relationship issues. Right? So we're comparing ourselves to people's facade of what they are. You know, and then we have platforms, or people have platforms, and they're feeding bullshit, I feel like, most of the time, because you're only feeding what you want to show. Nobody's showing their failures. Nobody's showing their struggles. So when we question ourselves, I think that's what we need to reflect on, right? I see a lot of people in the chat. Let me go back and read some of these. Okay, sweater. And you know I feel naked. I'm about to take this off, but the shirt I had on before got like a deodorant stain, so I took it off. I don't like my skin being out. I'm a little uncomfortable. Not you with the stomach out. Right, friends, stop. Y'all know I feel uncomfortable. Don't talk about my stomach. Guilty, cause my ugly be ugly, right? Yes, I look at all my friends getting married and why I'm not married yet, but getting stuck in the engaged stage. Girl, at least you engaged. I ain't never had a man. And even that, okay, so I just did what people do all the time when you talk about your struggles, right? I just did it to you. I'm sorry, Jeanette. So I don't mean at least you got engaged. That's kind of insensitive. That defeats the purpose of this talk. Look at that. So I'm trying to build consciousness, right? But that's valid. We laughing, we joking. Make sure y'all sharing the video. It's you with no stomach. You better let that skin out. Child, I'm so uncomfortable. But yeah, back to the point that I was making. We oftentimes are comparing ourselves to people who have done the work that we're afraid to do. That's one thing, right? And we often compare ourselves to people who aren't showing us their whole story. So while you sitting in your house crying, balled up and under your covers, you looking and scrolling through social media from people who were probably doing the same thing 5 minutes ago, except they got up and you still there, scrolling and rolling and crying, okay? So you really need to figure out, one, what triggers you, and two, you really need to figure out, like, what do I need to be doing to not get here? And that's why it's also important to have clear vision, right? We spend so much time being down on ourselves and thinking about what we don't have, but what you do have is the ability to work. You have the ability to grow, right? You have the ability to change. You have the ability to shift. This is your life. If you got to eliminate people, do it. If you got to leave your job, do it. If you got to change cities, do it. Why not, right? We really have to get clear on what we need, what we want, and how we operate. And as I was watching, I see y'all in the chat, and I really appreciate y'all talking with me. So I told y'all this morning, before I even looked at my phone, before I turned on the TV, before my dog woke up, right? I was having a moment. Like, it was 4 or 5 a.m. and I'm just like, what am I doing? Part of it because I ain't gonna want to go to work, but that's a large part of it. But also, like, I can't even quit this job right now if I wanted to. I mean, when I want to, And so it's like, why I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't be feeling like this. I should have a kid by now. I should have a man by now. I should be in a bigger house. I should be able to buy a house. I should be able to buy a new car. Like, I'm really having all of these moments, y'all. I'm in my feelings this morning. And I had to realize that it's like, no. You're exactly where you need to be. And people say that all the time, and I'm really starting to learn that is true. Every place that you are in, every situation that comes to you is a learning curve. Use it, right? If you want to be, and I had to watch Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, because if you know me, I love Maya Angelou. She is probably my favorite poet of all time. But I just Googled her reciting Still I Rise, and that poem, on YouTube, once you watch something, it rolls over to something else. And in that same video or the next video, I don't know, she was mentioning, like, you have to stop expecting things from people that you don't even have for yourself. And I feel like that's also true for the world. And the way that she spent it was like, you can't trust a naked person to give you a coat to keep you warm. Why would you trust someone who is not a good friend to be a good friend to you? Why would you trust someone who doesn't love themselves to love you? Why? Right? So we have to get out of this era of, expecting people to be and do things for us that they are not from themselves. A naked man can't give you clothes. He ain't got none. Okay? Somebody who's not a good friend can't give you that. Are you walking in the purpose that's for you? You want to be a wife? Are you operating as such? Or are you still fucking and sucking on everybody? Okay? You want to be a CEO, but you still sleep at 6 a.m. every day thinking you about to get something done at 10 a.m. when all the CEOs was up at 5. Right? You want to be a great friend. You want people to be great friends to you. You want people to pour into you when you're pouring toxic waste into everything and everybody. Right? We can't move like that. Pot, it would be you to put that in the chat. But yeah, you can't operate in things and want things that you're not giving. You can't expect that. Okay? You can't show happiness unless you really have it. Because your happiness is going to be tainted with bullshit. Okay? So when we're asking ourselves, am I doing this right? That's really a moment of self-reflection. Am I making the right moves to be happy? Am I making the right moves to be a great mom? Not just a baby mama, but a great mom. Am I making the right moves to be a business owner? Am I making the right moves to be a millionaire? Right? Because a lot of our habits are showing what we have, right? You have to be able to give what you want. You have to. Because if you're not giving what you want, when you receive it, even if it comes to you, and this is where a lot of, and I'm being very biased, but I feel like a lot of the people in my chat are people who date men. So I feel like with a lot of men, it's like they expect you to be this amazing woman when you ain't moving like that, right? That ain't how the game work. All up in arms in your feelings because some shit happened that you ain't like. But what about the 35 things that you did, still doing, that I ain't like? Right? Right moves for me. Okay. What we got in the chat? Hey, Telly. He said, so you spoke on what people who made vlogs sharing is too much. Yes. People need to see the real, but what's the limit for when we stop if we truly want them to see authentic us? Right? And so here's my take on vlogging and social media personalities. I have nothing against them. One day I might be one if y'all keep sharing my videos. Hint, hint. That was a shameless plug. But I think we just have to always understand that they are only showing us what they want. Okay? They are only showing us what they're proud enough to show us. Right? They're only discussing the things that they feel comfortable with, which there's nothing wrong with it. In this world where everything is up in front of the world on social media, it's totally okay. I'm not saying that they need to expose all of their dirty laundry or talk about the things or show themselves in a depressive state. That's not what I'm saying. I just want us to be conscious that that is the case, that they're not showing us that. And they don't have to, right? Some people probably pull a Issa and just show up married. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to show us anything, but understand that it took work to get there. We saw Issa married and was like, oh my God, I want to be married. You don't know how many arguments they had, how many fights they had, how many items in her apartment, or sorry, I know Issa ain't got no apartment. How many items in her house she done threw at his head before they got to that altar. You don't know. Right? So we want all these beautiful, glorious things. We want the career, the success, the car, the house, and you ain't doing shit. Get up. Do something. Right? And are you doing it wrong? Yes, you are doing it wrong if you're not doing the work to get to where you want to be. I'm going to say that again because I felt that for somebody in the back row. Are you doing it wrong? Yes, you are doing it wrong if you're not doing the work to get to where you want to be. Okay? And that's just how I feel about that. Let me know if y'all feel different. I went beyond and learned to slow down until marriage ain't a walk in the park. So I've heard. I wouldn't know. But yeah. And I'm actually glad that Jeanette said I went beyond and learned to slow down, because the next note that I had and I wanted to mention was just that. So in this walk with myself this morning, before I started getting up for work, before I started checking my phone, and I'm like, before I check my phone and all of that, I literally just had to slow down. Y'all just slow down. We live in a fast-paced world. And we have to slow down. Hustle culture is fucking us up. Social media is fucking us up. Comparison is fucking us up. Self-doubt is fucking us up. Slow down. Because who makes these timelines anyway of where we should be and at what time? I'm not going to say I keep having, but I've more than once, more than twice, more than about 5 or 10 times, I've had people be like, you almost 30, you ain't got no kids, you ain't got no man, all you got is a dog. And I'm just like, yeah, but who says that that's not okay to have at 28? You know what I mean? Who says? You not ready to buy a house? You ain't investing? Who says that I have to be? What I have to do is be happy. What I have to do is get my mental health together. What I have to do is get my money right, and then I can do all of those things. Just because that's what you see in the world happening, that ain't what I have to do. And we really have to remove ourselves from what's happening around us. We really have to get ourselves out of this idea of I have to be doing because they are. Just like your mama said back in the day, if all them jump off a bridge, you gonna go? Right, you ain't. So stop doing that. Stop comparing. We're going to stop comparing ourselves to people. In my relationships, mom, daughter, friends, coworker. I don't remember what you was referring to, but period. You are doing it wrong if you aren't doing the work to get to where you want to be. A word. Write it down, write it down, write it down. You are doing it wrong if you are not doing the work to where you get to where you want to be. You don't need that to make that happen. But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what, y'all? I love how y'all checking me. I don't even know what I said. What's wrong with what? They haters, LOL. They not happy with their life. They want others to feel how they feel. Okay, so Joey, you said, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what? Because maybe I misspoke. What's wrong with what? What did I say? What was wrong? What's wrong? I really want to know what I said, y'all, so I can elaborate. But while Joey run that back in the chat for what I said, so we really have to be conscious of who we are, how we're operating, right? When we're asking, are we doing this life thing right? And this is really, no, I was agreeing with you. Oh, okay, I thought you said what's wrong with that. Right, so there's nothing wrong with where you are. Now, if you are not happy where you are, change it. That's it. That's it. I feel like oftentimes we overcomplicate what's going to happen and what looks like what and why. We get, like I said earlier, we get so down on ourselves in our discomfort. I was about to say Stevie Wonder, y'all. It was not Stevie Wonder who said this. It was Steve Harvey. But he said one time in a talk, he said, if you are going through hell, why would you stop in hell? You got to keep going. Right? You got to get clear in your vision. Don't lose your vision. You might need to realign it, tweak it a little bit, but don't lose it. But don't stop in hell. Why would you want to stop in the worst place? Why would you want to stop in the middle of being depressed? Why would you want to stop in the middle of being broke? Why would you want to stop in not having your dreams fulfilled? If you want your dreams and they mean that much to you, don't stop in the middle of the chaos. Okay? Let chaos be chaos, but you got to acknowledge it and keep it pushing. This is chaos. I ain't dealing with it. Let me keep pushing. Hey, Rhea. I wish you was here earlier, girl. But yes, not have kids at 30 and so on. Exactly, y'all. So it's just like you have to get out of, and I think another part of feeling like we're doing it wrong is we take on everybody's expectations of us. Guilty. We take on everybody's expectation of us. Oh, you should be in law school, Toya, you should have a kid. How you ain't got no man? You ain't got this. Why you not doing that? What? I thought you would be doing this by now. Why don't you do it? Okay? Sometimes we got to check people. Like me and Rhea said a couple weeks ago, sometimes it's a no. What if I don't want no kids? What? What if, you know what I mean? And I have to tell people too, this is another discussion that I have had with people recently is about having a house, right? They're like, oh, you need to start saving so you can buy a house. I have no desire to buy a home right now because I don't even know where I'm going to live for the rest of my life. I haven't lived in all the cities that I'm going to live in before I settle down, right? I don't have a family and kids, so I don't have a desire to buy a home. You feel me? If I buy a home, I mean, okay, cool. I might rent it out as an Airbnb, but I don't want to be stuck in one place. Hell, I don't want to be where I am now. New city, me. Let me live my life. It's enough. Right. And you really have to. And this is my question to y'all. Because I know y'all heard this shit all the time. It fucking irritates me at this point. Be happy where you are. How can I be happy where I am when I want to be here? How can I be happy where I am when I know I'm destined for greater, right? Where I am right now, how do y'all think we can exercise that muscle? And I say we, because some of y'all are struggling too. How do we exercise that muscle to be content where we are? We say practice gratitude, goddammit. I got Post-it notes all over my mirrors like I'm Mary Jane. It still ain't work. I still feel like I shouldn't be here. I still feel like I need to be in a better place. Net said, and it's insensitive as fuck to ask a woman why she don't have kids. What if she can't? That's a word too. Just because some people out here racking up the food stamps, having 85 kids a year and getting $3,500 back in taxes, just because they fertile don't mean I am. You know? Stop asking women when they're having kids. When you having kids? Next time, when you having some? Hey, Jazz. She said, I have no desire to buy a house at all. Having a house, owning something sounds good, but everything that goes wrong is on you. Ain't nobody got time for that. And that's what I'm saying. And that's a conversation. That's a point that I mentioned too when it came to buying a house. Like, baby, if this sink broke, I'm calling the office to come fix it. I ain't got to find a plumber, find out they hourly wages, go get the parts from Home Depot. I don't even like Home Depot. I wouldn't know what to do up in there. You know what I'm saying? So if my toilet broke, I'm single, baby. Who about to fix a house? Who about to mow a lawn? Who about to shovel snow? Baby, no. Who about to lay some salt? What I look like out there laying salt? Baby, bye. Y'all better leave me alone talking about a house. You gonna build it and maintain it? All right then. Y'all just triggered me talking about buying a house and now I gotta do all the maintenance. Baby, I'm going to Home Depot to get a hot dog and a Pepsi. Baby, I'm going to Home Depot to walk my dog because they allow dogs to teach him how to socialize. That's why I'm going to Home Depot. I have no desire to be in Lowe's. I still use a rice cooker. Hell, I don't even like cooking rice. So what makes you think I'm about to fucking fix a toilet in the house? What? Stop playing with me. But Bringing it back, y'all. Yeah, so we have to understand, y'all, that you are only doing it wrong if you are not doing the work to get to where you want to be. I'll say that again. You are only doing life wrong if you are not doing the work to get to where you want to be. Right? So stop letting the world tell you where you should be. Stop telling yourself that you need to be somewhere else because of social media. You know what I mean? Stop letting people guilt you into having your bad moments. It happens to the best of us. And I just had to check myself. So as you all leave this space, when you all come and talk to me, I'm not expecting things to be a perfect fix. Literally, it just happened on this episode, right? Stop letting people guilt you into feeling bad sometimes, because it happens. And for my friends who just joined us, the way I check myself is we mentioned in the chat things that we felt bad about or felt like we weren't doing. And one of my friends, Jeanette, she mentioned that she felt bad when she seen all her friends getting married, but she's stuck in the I got engaged phase, right? And my initial reaction without thinking, y'all, I was like, girl, at least you got engaged, at least I ain't got a man. And right, that's the things that we talk about. For her, that engagement phase is triggering because, babe, why we still engaged? When the wedding? My dress size gonna go up by the time the wedding come, and I'm gonna be embarrassed because I can't fit it. You know what I mean? But for her, that's her struggle, and I have to honor that. We have to learn how to respect people where they are. I'm going to Home Depot to find a husband. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to Home Depot to find somebody that could fix the damn toilet that y'all think I'm gonna fix in the house that y'all want me to buy. The house gonna be broke down. Let me buy a house. It's gonna be broke down. It's gonna be broke down because I ain't fixing nothing. I'm gonna move into an apartment and sell the house to somebody else. There's no right or wrong, because we think about our parents, they ain't know anything either. We are all doing the best we can day by day. And we are. And I think something for older generation friends to also keep in mind is we doing things differently. I don't know about y'all, but there's a huge generational gap. My mom had me at 40. And so there's just a lot that's different about how life works, you know? And sometimes I feel like me not having a kid is kind of like foreign. It's like, whoa, you better hurry up. You getting old. I said, girl, I still got meg knees. I ain't getting old. I got time to have. You had me at 40. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So we have to kind of recognize, be empathetic, and understand that times are changing for different people. Everybody is not in the place that you are in, okay? Just because somebody has a kid does not mean that they happy. You might want a kid in the family, you know what I'm saying? Just because somebody is in a relationship, they might be trying to get out, but the nigga crazy and won't let them go, you know? And they still taking pictures because he like, you better post me. Or she like, you better post me, nigga. I know that girl be watching your page. You better post. You don't know. You comparing yourself to some bullshit. Stop doing that. I love that y'all talking to me today, but we about to wrap it up soon because I'm tired. I should have had one of y'all on here. Whew. We also have to understand that we all go through the same thing, just at different levels. Like you said, a single woman would be happy to be engaged and an engaged woman would be happy to be married. And like I said, that is why this podcast is called Universal Teas, because I acknowledge the fact that the things that we go through are universal. We just don't talk about them. And so this is a platform that I created because I want us to talk about all of the shit that we don't. All of the things that we don't see on TikTok and we don't see on these cute reels with the camera angles and the lighting, and when you drop your outfit on there and when you lighting candles and reading books for the Instagram. I want to talk about all the shit we don't see, you know? And so we have to acknowledge that. We have to talk about it. We have to let people know that you are okay where you are. We can't just say it. We got to talk about what it feels like to be on the other side. Right? We have people, and this is me kind of ranting about my why behind doing this. I feel like when we think about inspirational speakers, they are talking to us from a place of here, and they're just kind of telling us like, you got to be strong. You can't give up. But it's like, I want to talk about what that moment feels like when you want to give up. I don't just want to tell you to keep going. I want you to know that I didn't want to at one point. I want you to understand what it feels like, what it looks like, and know that this is the place where you can talk about that and not be judged, but we going to help you. We going to help you. You know what I'm saying? Rhea said, I talk in my book. Oh, girl, what's the name of the book so we could go buy it? I talk in my book about life expectations being centered around this cookie cutter format. that a low percent of people achieve. So we are uprooting this format to live out your process. Exactly. We have to. And we're in a world where people ain't shit, where we judge everybody, where everything that's new and different, we talk about it. Instead of trying to understand, seek first to understand. Seek first to understand people before you start judging. You know what I'm saying? And so things that are foreign to us, we kind of shut them off because we're too lazy to learn. Things that are foreign to us, we kind of shun them off. We judge them because we're too lazy to learn about what it really is. And we have to stop doing that. Ask questions, but be respectful. There's a difference between being inquisitive and prying. There's a difference for really wanting to understand and just wanting some tea. I know this is called universal teas, but we do healthy tea over here, right? There's a difference from seeking to understand versus just wanting the tea. Stop doing that. If you really want to know something about somebody, ask them. But do so respectfully, because I don't know about their hands, but my hands still get active. Okay? And so that's good. The foreign ain't boring. And I know that's right. So let people live. Because here's my thing. If people are happy, I'm going to let them be. You know what I'm saying? Why is somebody else's happiness or something that makes them comfortable or something that makes somebody love themselves so offensive to you? Now, making a very clear disclaimer. I ain't talking about weird shit like pedophiles and all that rapists. That shit, no. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about things like homosexuality. I'm talking about women not wanting to have kids. I'm talking about people quitting jobs that they hate. I'm talking about the things that are weird to us. Weird, quote unquote, that's just freeing to somebody else. I want to live freely. I want to live happily. I want to live in my best purpose. I just want to live and be joyful everywhere I go, right? And whatever that looks like, that's what it's going to be. Y'all better be careful when I get free. Okay? Y'all better be careful when I get to where I want to be. Y'all better be careful when I don't give a fuck no more. Y'all better be careful. Right? So, let's get ready to wrap this up. I appreciate y'all in the chat, and I just want to leave y'all with a few points. So, the question is, am I doing this wrong? Am I adulting wrong? Am I doing it wrong? The answer that we came up with is you are not doing life wrong unless you are not working to get to where you want to be. I always want to leave y'all with an assignment. I call it heart work. And for today's episode, what I want y'all to think about is, what is it that you want? When you get in those hard places, like I was in at 4 or 5 a.m. this morning just crying for whatever reason because I was sad that I didn't have a Bentley sitting outside. Right, I know. What does it take for you to get there? Stop being down on yourself. Let yourself feel sad, but as soon as you wipe them tears away, what do I need to do so that I don't feel like this for a long time? That's what you need to do. That's what you need to reflect on, write down, put in your notes in your phone. What is it that you need to do to get to where you want to be so that you don't have to question if you're doing it wrong? Right? Okay? So I'm about to go ahead and close us out. I appreciate my friends joining us. All right, everybody. This was Season 2, Episode 6. Am I Doing It Wrong on Universal Teas, the People's Podcast. Shout out to all my friends that joined me on Facebook Live. Make sure y'all are sharing the video so we can have more friends in the chat, more opinions, more lessons that we can learn. If you are listening via Apple, Spotify, or any other place that you get your podcast, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss an episode, and leave me a review. Let me know how I am doing. All right? So I'll see y'all next time. Bye.